Hey everyone, I hope you're all doing well today. This time we're going to be looking at the CRPG Book, a guide to computer role-playing games. This is from Bitmap Books. I almost screwed that one up. Oh man, we're starting off great already, just, messing everything up. Anyway, this is a gorgeous book. Bitmap does a really great job with these. I've got a few of them. I've gone over the JRPG book already, and I figured I should go over this one next. So this one came out before the JRPG book, and I think a lot of the problems I have with this one were actually fixed in the JRPG book. So instead of breaking this down by, like subgenres of role-playing games, this one breaks it down by year. That works well for some years, but then in other years it feels like they're just throwing everything into this. It also gets a little strange later on when they start throwing in console games that I know were on the PC or on computers, but I don't know them as computer role-playing games. It's very weird to me that they're here. Like, they include Final Fantasy VII, and I understand why Final Fantasy VII is important, because, it really elevated its genre, like its version of role-playing games, the JRPGs, and it made Final Fantasy popular, at least in North America. It did a lot for role-playing games. I don't associate it with computer role-playing games, though. I'm sure somebody will yell at me in the comments about that. It's fine, whatever. That's just my opinion, after all, so, yeah. Take it or leave it. I will say this, like, at the end, there's so much overlap. Once you get into the 2000s and the 2010s, yeah, you're gonna see stuff that was on that was released both on computer and on console. So, yeah, fair enough. Before that, though, you didn't see that. You would see a computer game released on the computer, and then maybe years later it would get a release on the home console, or it would be heavily edited to get on the console, because consoles just couldn't handle some RPGs. So anyway, to get all of that out of the way, this is a really great resource. We start all the way back in the 70s, and they bring up a lot of games that I did not know existed. I've discovered a lot of stuff just from going through this and finding games that I just never realized were there. You can see sort of the evolution of graphics in a lot of these. It's really cool to see these different games. And of course, you have a lot of the staples in here. You've got Ultima, you've got Wizardry, you've got A Bard's Tale, you've got the Dungeons and Dragons games in here. It's really cool to see all this stuff. You've got Elder Scrolls, you've got Wasteland, you've got the Fallout games, you've got Deus Ex. There's a lot of fun stuff in here. To get sidetracked again, because we made it to Dark Sun Shattered Lands. I love the Dark Sun games. But they're what got me into Dungeons and Dragons, really. I got the first game on this weird, like, blister pack. It had 5 Dungeons and Dragons games in it. I have no idea what the other 4 were. Like, I think one of them might have been a Forgotten Realms game, but I have no idea what the other 4 games were. But I played the shit out of Dark Sun. That one was so awesome. And then later on, I realized that they had released Shattered Lands, and I played that one. And I might be messing the name up a little bit, but I remember that one from more recently, because I didn't know it existed, discovered it, and then played it. So those two games are really great. The first one especially has a lot of nostalgia for me. And now we get to Daggerfall. I didn't know that this was an Elder Scrolls game at first, because when I first played it, it was way back in the mid 90s. I got a demo disc with it on there, and I just saw the name Daggerfall. I didn't read Elder Scrolls or anything like that. I'm sure it was on the package and whatnot. That game was so much fun. I think I just kept playing the demo over and over again and didn't really get the full game for a very long time. But yeah, Daggerfall was awesome. I had no idea what I was doing in it, but that was fine. It was just one of those games that I played so much of. And it also kind of harkens back to, the time when you would get demo discs. So for those kids who don't know what I'm talking about, magazines used to give away discs with I don't know, I'm going to say 10 different parts of games on there. So you would get a disc with a magazine, and you'd have 10 different intros to games. And they could, in theory, just go on forever. Some of them had a hard stop on it, but Daggerfall didn't. You could just keep playing Daggerfall forever. You wouldn't be able to level up or anything. I think they gave you 1 or 2 levels, and after that they were no, you need to go actually buy the real game. But yeah, it was crazy. I had so many demo discs from back then, most of which I don't remember any of the games that are on them, but I definitely remember Daggerfall. Sorry, as I was rambling, we moved into the 2000s and everything. You saw Vampire the Masquerade on there. That was another game that I didn't know too much about. I definitely didn't know it was tabletop or anything like that. And I didn't know there was a TV show associated with it until much later. But that was a game that I got introduced to through a couple of my friends while I was in the Navy. And that game was awesome. When I could get it to work on my computer, of course, it was awesome. Sometimes it was just weird. That was still back when you could get a computer game and it was kind of like a crapshoot whether or not it could work sometimes. Most of the time it would work. Every once in a while you would get one and it would be broken, and if you weren't paying attention to the internet like I wasn't at the time, you didn't know it was broken, you didn't know how to actually fix it, so you just kind of moved on. Or at least I did. There is so much in this book that I can't really go over all of it. There's so many games in here. I would say probably about 90% of them should be in this book. They probably could have trimmed this down and cut some of the weird stuff out, because there's just strange things in this book that I didn't know existed, and I don't really think they matter as much as they probably should. Or not, that's probably not the right word. They probably just don't matter. You could tell the story of CRPGs without them. But, those are just kind of other decisions. They do a great job of cataloging just where the genre has gone. I feel like they could have done a better job if they had just, broken this down into subgenres, like they did with the JRPG book. Oh well, though. It's still a great book. I'm glad that I have it. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and have a great day, everybody. Bye.